1xBet and Eva Alfie present betting on all esports events on the website and in the 1xBet app. 1xBet. Play with Eva.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome along to the Oriez Regional Series 1 Latin America. And I suppose, Ted, it's a very special show today because we've got two games running at the same time. So we've got two different streams. We've got Exner and Fi on the other one, and we've got myself and yourself on this one. And looking forward to some playoff matches because now we're really getting down to the business end. We're really seeing who's going to be taking that next step and who's going to be making, their first steps forward to really win it all.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's going to be an exciting day, right? We're not going to get that late game starting at, what was it, 12 Central European Time PM, which, is a little bit wild for everyone watching from the EU. So we've kind of made it, we found a sweet spot, right? Having two games rolling at the same time, you can choose which matchup's more interesting for you, whether it's going to be w7m against BESTIA, which we're going to watch here on the B stream, or Flexo taking on Solid, which is going to be going over at the A stream. And we found a sweet spot. The reason I'm saying that, you could be a new citizen and you're still getting the games in a doable time, right? You can still watch even the late game, because we know that it gets a little bit overwhelming with the final game. If you're living in the EU, you need to stay up late and watch. But now, if you're Brazilian or South American, you can watch your favorite team or players, and you can watch it from the EU as well. So it's going to be really exciting. It's going to be a great day. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too, man. I'm really kind of excited to see what this matchup has to offer. It definitely looks on paper to be shaping up of one of the better matchups. And, not only do we have that part of it, we've got the kind of other part of it as well, that, it's w7m versus BESTIA. BESTIA are, one of the only non-Brazilian teams left in the tournament, and I believe actually they might even be they might actually even be the only one now that La Ruganeta have been taken care of, and
they are. Fluxo, Solid, Case, Sharks, and W7M and Imperial are all Brazilian teams. BESTIA is the only team from Argentina left.
Yeah. So they're going to be wanting to fly that Argentinian flag high after saying goodbye to their fellow countrymen who were knocked out earlier by Imperial in the first game of the day. And this BESTIA team, it's definitely a team that can go ahead, maybe get revenge on Imperial. Of course, the winner of this game will be taken on Imperial. And BESTIA, they've already had their run-ins with them in the past as well. So they'll be wanting to go and maybe enact revenge. But they've got a W7M team in front of them that have kind of turned a lot of heads. They managed to take down Sharks in their second game. Pretty standard victory over Corinthians in the first, but they were one of the first teams that booked their spot in the playoffs, going 2-0 through the groups.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking about W7M, I feel like in recent history, obviously, we've had a lot of conversations about them maybe not finding the success that they were after early on in the season, right? Qualifying for a big event has been on the agenda for the last couple months for those guys, and they just haven't been able to get over that finishing line, right? They made it to the finals, to so many open qualifiers, close qualifiers, so many times, but every single time there is a team standing in front of them. So far in this tournament, so to speak, they've been nearly perfect, right? The 2-0 versus the Corinthians, then the 2-1 versus Sharks, which is another team we're going to be watching later on today, and the team, that they usually actually struggle against. So against Sharks, to take that 2-1 was actually massive for them. And with the amount of individual skill, with the amount of young prowess that we've seen in this team so far in the tournament, I'm really looking forward to it. They've been really impressive. And there is a fun fact I actually have for you. BESTIA might be the only Argentinian team. They might be the only non-Brazilian team left in the tournament. But W7M is actually the youngest team in the tournament. We're talking about the lineup. And this is with, and I apologize for this, but Focus, 25 years of age. And with how young everyone else around him is, they're still the youngest team in the tournament.
And they've got the second highest rated player in the event so far, and that's Sadzin. He has a 1.46 rating across 5 maps, which is very impressive indeed. He's been really doing the business for W7M, and one of the real shining lights in that game that we watched versus Sharks. Of course, we all remember that map one, Ted. It was extremely long on Mirage. We had some incredible highlights from both oppers, and even actually Folkyou picking up the op as well, going on the secondary AWP.
That was what won them the game, right?
Yeah, that's what really kind of changed it all, and they managed to take them down. And they're going to need to change something, Ted, to be honest, because W7M have played Bestia, I believe, 6 times on 6 maps on CS2. They've only taken 1. So something needs to go a little bit different this time if W7M do want that victory in a best of 3. The only map they managed to beat them on Mirage. And my question to you is, do you expect to see that today?
Absolutely, yes. I mean, there's no reason not to, right? You look at the veto, first of all, it's always going to be really interesting because both teams usually perma veto Vertigo. And I feel like that actually gives a really good possibility for some extra, I guess, room to work with, right? For some brainstorming for both sides. It depends on who's going to be first in the veto phase. I actually see a world where both teams just remove a completely different map in the first veto phase and they just float Vertigo because they know they're not going to pick into it, right? You're not playing against Sharks. You're not going to get to play a Vertigo. So yeah, going into the veto, Jack, I'm actually intrigued to see because I feel like Bestia might have a green card to remove that nuke straight away. And W7M might be able to get rid of Inferno, but Nuke is actually going to stay for the first veto phase, and it's going to get floated, so I assume we're going to see it removed in the second one by Bestia, and there you have it. Enshin as a decider, W7M go for a Mirage, we discussed that just now, something that we actually expected, and then we're going to see the Anubis coming in from Bestia. But looking at the veto, straight up, give me your initial thoughts.
Well, I mean, W7M picking the Mirage, that's something that we were definitely expecting. They're very, very strong on that map. They've looked good on it. In this event, they've only played it once, but that 22-20, that really close game against Sharks, who we know are going to be a tough opponent on Mirage as well. And they've already beaten Bestia on it, so that's an absolute no-brainer. As for the Anubis pick for Bestia, a little bit of a surprise, but maybe a little bit of a punishment pick as well, right? Because they probably watched that game against Sharks, saw a few details in it that W7M played and said, you know what, that's one that we can definitely take. And then Ancient as a decider, I think both teams are going to be happy, both teams are comfortable on that map, but Bestia know that they've beaten them on it before, and they definitely can beat them on it again. To be honest, Ed, looking at this, if Mirage is won by W7M, I can see this going to all 3 maps. But if Bestia managed to take Mirage, I don't know. It could be difficult from there.
Absolutely agreed with you, by the way. I think you made a lovely point there. No matter what you're going with, if you're W7M, you're gonna have a punishment pick being picked against you in this veto, right? It's kind of like a pick your poison situation for them, right? You either go on an Anubis, which we already said that Bestia have looked really strong on. They've won 4 out of their last 5 games on Anubis, and the only one that they actually lost was in overtime against MIBR. It was actually double OT as well, and we know that MIBR has always been a good Anubis team in that iteration of the team, right? So I feel like Anubis is a punishment pick, and then if you wanted to remove Anubis, you would have been left with Inferno, which we know Thomason is completely capable of just winning by himself. So I feel like you either find a way to actually neutralize Thomason, and I'm going to have some more time to talk about him as the game starts and how impactful he's been so far in this tournament, or you need to go on Anubis. They've preferred to go for an Anubis. Bestia surely going as the favorites into this matchup, but we need to give the benefit of the doubt as well, and actually add and touch upon the fact that Anubis being your pick as the second pick into the veto is always a little bit risky, right? Always has a little bit of a two-edged sword attached to it, it feels like, because then you let your opponents who potentially could win their map pick actually start on the T side.
Yeah, it could be tough, and we've seen games where they've kind of been 11-1 on the T side. We've seen games just absolutely ran away with. So yeah, that could be definitely a big danger. Something I wanted to bring up, as I think we have a little bit of time before we do jump into the game. The 2 operas, when we want to compare Sadzin and Noxy, they've 2 completely different styles, and I just wonder. I just want to get your opinions on it. How do you think that battle is gonna pay out? Because you would have to say Sadzin is a little bit more aggressive than Noxy, as Noxy is in that op IGL role. He's usually the one setting up his other players for the kills, but still can have some massive impact.
Yeah, you know what's the thing? I actually feel like Sadzin, even though obviously the teams are completely different, and we're never going to be able to actually compare Noxy, who's a 31-year-old IGL with all the experience in the world that's been playing the game for 10 plus years on a professional level. Mechanically, reflex wise, you're not going to be able to compare him with Sadzin, who's the second highest rated player in the tournament, right? So I feel like Sadzin actually has that going for him. But on the other hand, Sadzin is trying to be a really positional opener as well, and this is something that we're noticing progressively throughout this tournament. His stats for entry attempts, especially on T side, are going lower and lower with every single game, which is, let's say, a contrast to someone else who we're going to watch later on today, Gafolo, but we're going to have time to talk about him later on. But I actually feel like the more passive approach Sadzin goes for in this game, the better for Noxy, because I think Noxy is an opener that's completely fine with just playing around his riflers, just setting them up. And he's an opener that's really good at positioning himself, right? This is kind of what people associate uh, more experienced and guys that have been around in the scene for a little bit longer, especially when they're on the AVP with, right? You're not expecting him to be the flashiest man alive. You're expecting him to know where to peak, when to peak, how to support his teammates. I feel like this is where Noxy could outplay maybe Sadzin, but skill wise, yeah. I mean, if Sadzin gets in the zone, especially on a map like Mirage, it could be a long day for Noxy for sure.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think you make a fair point. It is two completely different offense styles. They both bring two massive, different sets of experience to the table for their team. Somebody I want to talk about just a little bit as well. I just want to get your thoughts out is Fokyu. I mean, how impressed have you been with him? Because he's been putting up some very very impressive numbers. We spoke about that op. Him picking up the secondary op when it went to OT versus Sharks. Not only that, I think he finished above a 2 rating in that Corinthians game as well. He's having what looks to be one of his best events ever. I mean, if he continues on that, upward trajectory, what are your thoughts? Do you think, he can be the one to kind of, carry W7M forward in this?
Only thing I'm going to say, people probably noticed, and you might have noticed, that I was looking down on my notebook because I wanted to get the specific numbers. Fokyu, since the start of this calendar year, is sitting on 1.05 rating, right? Which for an IGO who's not even opening sounds all right. But then you look at his statistics, you look at the rating for this event, and we're usually, especially, I'm not usually the person to look at the rating and be like, see, this guy's actually insane, he's playing great, but he's on 1.27, and that's a 0.22 jump from his standard level throughout this event, which, it's absolutely crazy to see, right? There's a lot of questions around it. Is this going to be repetitive? Is he going to be able to bring on the same performance in playoffs when he's playing against some of the top teams? But you know what? If he is, then yeah, I think that might give them an edge, because he's usually not a guy that you're used to seeing put on those numbers in the server.
That's why I brought it up. That's why I just wanted to get your thoughts on it, because man, it has been impressive, and those things don't go unnoticed. No, 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 no,
Okay.
no, no. I was setting you up for
right.
success there. I was the support player, and you were the entry. You were getting all the glory there. I'll take my flash assists. And well, that's exactly what Sadzin is going to try and do, as the B-pop is going to happen. Thomason, lovely first shot onto ZD, who doesn't even get his way out of the apartments, but Thomason dealt with. Deco now tries to swing onto the site to get a little bit of control back for Bestia, but that's not going to happen. W7M so far with a very clean T pistol, and now JG has spotted both players. He just needs to stay alive and buy time, and he's even going to be able to get away, but he wants to go back for more. Mayern only gets one as he falls, and Bestia bested on the pistol to get the ball rolling.
Yeah, great stuff. Explosive pistol round out on the B-bomb side. Pretty standard, but as soon as you're able to find the first couple kills, then it's a whole lot more difficult for the CTs. Standard once again. Window, kitchen window smoke, short smoke. A lot of people are just going with those on a B execute. You can never go wrong with it, especially with the Glocks. You can just close out the distance so quickly. A pretty clean one. One more thing that I actually wanted to add on: the CT sides for W7M so far in the tournament have actually been a lot more prolific as well, compared to the T side. So I feel like for them, going into a game, being one of the teams with the best trades as well. Going into a game on the T side right now, I feel like the more rounds you win on the T side, the easier is going to be for you to close it out in the second half, and that counts for pretty much every single map. Well, yeah, I guess it does. Maybe bar Anubis. On Anubis, you'd really want to get a lot of rounds on the T side, but yeah, their CT side so far have been crazy. We're talking about Fokyu. He's actually the second highest rated player on CT side in the tournament so far.
Gonna go on the entry in this round, and he is just sprinting up short, trying to find Deco. It's a little bit messy, and he ends up going down. Oh, and now this gets a little bit dangerous. Bestia found 2 kills, and another one on top of that. Jay-Z burning in that Molotov gives away his position. Stormzin's gonna try and get closer to help him out, but they're just being picked apart by this force buy on the CT side. Stormzin needs to do some damage at the least, but that's all he can really hope for in this round, Ted. A 1 versus 4, and now a lot of players have upgraded weapons. This is looking completely out of the question.
Yeah, we were talking about Noxie's prowess, right? Positioning yourself at the right place and the right time, and that's exactly what we got in this round from him. Stormzin is still gonna try and find as many kills as possible here. You know, try and at least financially harm his opponents, but this round should be out of the conversation unless they give him a lot of fights. But you know what? Noxie's there to save him out and help him out. It's a triple for the IGL on the scout, upgrades himself to an AK, and Bestia answer back immediately. And you know what? I don't want to throw him under the bus after all the hype that we were actually bringing up for Fokyu before this one, but I just feel like if he's able to get that first kill a little bit cleaner, well, he didn't even get it in the end, so get that first kill cleanly on the B-bomb side towards short, that's a completely different round. I feel like it opens up the space for the T's coming out of short a lot more.
Yeah, 100%, man. It's just the minute details, right? I mean, if you just get that clean kill, you're able, even if you go down directly after that, you just create so much space for your team, and there wasn't enough space. The pistols were in good positions, and Bestia will punish you when things like that don't go right. A little bit of a palace pop here. Perfect flash. Blinds both players on the site. Some lovely camera work to see both of that. And well, look at that for a spray transfer. That is fantastic from Noxie to actually only claim a double as Mayern got 3
Oh wait,
of them.
I thought that was Mayern, yeah. You know what? I was looking at the spray transfer. I saw the kill feed. Didn't even look at the name and the picture of the player. And I was like, is this Mayern? That's so sick.
Still decent though. I mean, you still get 2 kills from it. Mayern gets a hat trick, no problem. You shut that down, because those are the rounds that really can be a nightmare to deal with sometimes, especially when we've seen that both players are actually flashed from the get-go. You know, 2 out of 3 on the A site are flashed. All of a sudden there's a Tech 9 flying off the balcony on top of you, and there's 3 more following him. Yeah, that can be a big issue and a big problem, but Bestia hold, keep 5 alive. And now it is just the Glocks to deal with.
Guys, go B. I'm gonna plant A. Well, guys, I actually played before you, so we're not planting on A. We're not planting on B. You can just go and waste some time. Try and find a cheeky kill. I actually rate the attempt, I guess. And most of the time, the bomb is gonna go palace. So you know, Jay-Z, he's trying to think outside of the box. He's trying to be creative. How often are you gonna see the solo bomb carrier go ramp? Have you ever thought about it? Probably not. It's still going to be a clean one though for the CT side, and now as we pointed out, they already have that really good financial insurance as well, that if something goes wrong, you can still lay back on your finances, rely on them, and have a really good readjustment. Well, yeah, readjustment, and back it up with the good weaponry. Good news as well, they've been able to hold on to a couple of the MP9s, so I'm actually looking forward to seeing if they want to go aggressive in this first proper buy round of this map.
It's be intriguing to see, alright, you know, do they want to change it up completely?
I mean, no reason not to risk it, in my eyes. You have 2 MP9s, you have a couple rifles to back them up, you don't have the AVP, and everyone's over 5k. And only 2 people are actually under 6k. So you have the money to back it up, you have the reasoning to back it up. It would be the perfect round to actually go something aggressive.
Yeah, I think, judging by the position and the spawns of Thomason and Luchov, you don't really have the spawns to go rush middle.
Yeah.
So maybe go aggressive towards ramp would be the second option to that one. Molly down, the flash down. Yeah, they're making their way close as well. They're going to go aggressive. Just not towards ramp in the moment. Actually, they are. So, yeah, this is the aggression you were hoping for. Getting Luchov into this corner. That's nicely done. Flash comes in from Sadson. It's just a fake right now.
Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah.
That's a big kill from Luchov. And now that's going to trigger the B play, surely.
Deco is completely blind there. There's nothing you can do about that one. As Bestia have rotated 4 players over towards that A site. They've seen the nades being set up, and Deco has just been caught with his pants down. Given the B site away for free. Right now, Bestia are going to try and get a little bit closer. Now, because the bomb hasn't actually gone down here and they're wasting a lot of time throwing it over, I mean, Bestia are going to be quick here. They still have 2 kits regardless, but they need to find the kills. Luchov falls. It's a one-pronged attack out from the market, and the molly comes in. That's going to burn a lot of players down. A ZD double really just confirms this round as Noxie tries to get away with his life. But I don't think he's going to be as fortunate with that. He's worried about his flank right now. Oh, is he going to try and maybe sneak it? Is he going to try and sneak his way out? Well, yeah, ZD, he was always going to be watching that, and it's him with the ace Ted to lock that round in.
Yeah, this is so massive from ZD. I mean, you needed a first buy round. The aggressive maneuver was there. A great reaction by w7m though, right? The moment that they lose their player in towards the ramp, even though there was still technically one more palace, and you can hear if they push forward. It's not like you have no presence towards the A-bomb side, right? You can still work with it and slow it down, but they just execute straight away. It just triggers the play, and Deco was just not ready for it. Great flashes, great answer. And now they're gonna simplify things a little bit. Going back for an A play, stairs and jungle smokes being lined up, and 2 of them are gonna walk out of palace any moment now with the Uto.
Well, the util has actually just stopped them there for a moment. Smokes are going to be awaited out here. Smoke towards deep jungle. And actually it lands in top con, excuse me. Knocks it though. That Sarah smoke is going to be gone. He gets a clear line of sight towards the palace. Luchov down to low HP but still claims a double kill. And this is a great response now from Bestia because they've held on. W7M have gone for a massive risk there, just waiting for the smokes to actually fade a little bit. Didn't want to go before that. Thought that they would be good enough in just the fights that they've taken, but it's just the IGL now left alone, stood towards top middle. He has stepped, and I wonder, has that been heard? I believe it might be.
It kind of looks like it has, right? I mean,
it definitely has, yeah.
Yeah, the ticket player is looking towards connector. Window guy's just waiting to peek on his contact. Ladder player is waiting for the same. And yeah, Noxie's just walking around with his knife out. So they know exactly what's up. In that situation, though, you either go for the kill after time or you just let him be, right? Because you realize that you are about to win a full buy round with 4 surviving. And yeah, now they've seen him. He's been tagged down, and he's probably not getting out of there alive. Never mind. He might be able to escape. But he goes back, and Deku's gonna take that fight and win it gladly. That's 4 on the board for the CT side. 4 alive as well was absolutely massive for the money. And this is what we were talking about, right? No matter that they lost the previous round, they still have the money to actually go for a better investment. They had the rifles, they had the full user to actually stop that initial execution from the CT side or from the T side, and then they have the AVP. The moment that the smokes fade, Noxie is able to go for that peak. There's no ult on the other side to punish him for that, and everyone was just going down. Great hold by Bestia.
Oh, Noxie, if only he knew. If he would have actually launched that HE, he would have done a whole lot of damage, but he's going to take point with that AWP. There was the chance, and the HE now is just going to land at the feet of Stormson. W7M, they're coming at the ramp here. Now the utility is just being thrown over. Flash is going in. Luchov unaccounted for, but 1 for 1. He does fall. ZD going to try and get aggressive. Needs to find this kill onto Marin, and it's a lovely double entry from ZD, who is on fire at the moment for his side. Deco being tapped down. Thomason is the last player standing. He's got a 1 versus 3 on his hands. He needs to try and isolate these fights. He's being flanked, so he is on a timer, whether he knows it or not. But it's the man from Palace that he needs to be worried about as Jay-Z taps his brain and his life away.
It's so valuable to have players that are capable of finding multi-kills mid-round when everything is just complete and utter carnage and chaos is around, right? Having a player like Jay-Z who's been patient enough towards the Palace to find that double kill, make sure that things are just going to be a lot, well, calmer, I guess, for the T's. And, you know, Thomason is not actually a player to underestimate in a situation like that. We know how mechanically gifted he is, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot of those rounds in which he is the difference maker until the end of the game. But so far, they've been isolating him quite nicely. I mean, he hasn't really been given too many chances, especially on those 8 takes. And BESTIA decides to go for their first tactical timeout. Now, they still have that money reassurance. They still have it in the bank reserve, but that's the final one in there. That's the last one. You lose this, and you're going to be on an eco. You're going to be fully reset, loss bonus as well. It's not going to be the minimum one, but it's not going to be enough to actually grant you another investment. So you got to be careful with this.
Fuck you. Gonna get towards Delpan here. Not unscathed, he has taken a little bit of damage, but unseen, which is going to be very important later in the round. Should his teammates get out onto a bomb site, he could really maybe do some damage from this position. But he's going to play a little bit earlier. Double underwalk. And BESTIA, no real interest here, Ted, in playing for middle because of that aggressive position that Luchov had taken up towards the ramp. He's seen nothing. He's now going to back away, but backs right into an AK bullet. Knocks it. Trades it out 1 for 1. Marin with a ludicrous jump in towards the underpass there, but somehow gets away with it.
Wow, this is completely crazy from Marin, and he's actually going to walk through the top connector smoke as well. Thomason on the other side, he's hearing the steps. That's the bomb. This is complete disaster. The Ope is still alive in towards CT timing for JC is really important. Finds one, but knocks his position really nicely for the refrag. And Thomason is the difference maker in this one, dropping the bomb, and Zadie needs to try and clutch it up in the 1 versus 2, but where is Thomason gone to? Well, you're not going to be able to find him in time. Thomason with a great double kill, single-handedly winning the round for BESTIA.
That's unfortunate as well for Zadie, right? A 1 versus 2, if he just predicts that, if he just makes and hazards a guess that, okay, he was towards top middle, I've got a Molotov. He can actually molly behind the boxes there, which it's not an unusual play. He just mollies behind the boxes, then all of a sudden he wins that 1v1 fight, and he's got a 1v1 versus the Op then for it all. So that round definitely wasn't extremely clean for BESTIA, but they get it done. It was a nice little bait, to be honest.
The rush B.
Yeah, this is a mad call right now to try and get out onto the site, and they have done so. Thomason has been unable to stop anybody. Noxia misses a bullet as well, and there's T's absolutely everywhere. They've swarmed this B bomb site, and there's nothing BESTIA can do about it as of right now. But they need to find the kills. They need to get a little bit closer. Use the util if they have it. Noxia and Luchov now get in on the action. Sadson trying to help out his teammates from the apartments. They've walked past the short player in the smoke, but he's been found out, and that was a relatively clean retake, Ted, all things considered. After losing Thomason in the first instance, the T's were littering that B bomb site just around every single corner, and nobody falls. They take it back.
Yeah, that's one of those moments in which if you're a w7m, you were actually hoping that BESTIA would try and be a bit more, well, I guess conservative in the way that they're holding the B-bomb site. Eventually, you were hoping that you were going to be able to get 2 kills before you plant the bomb, right? You saw how, I think, awkward it was that there was a couple players in towards default and towards bench, but those were the Tech 9s, right? And you know the majority of the CTs are coming out of short side, so you can't really favor yourself with a Tech 9 from bench fighting an M4 coming out of short, right? So you gotta just wait, and you gotta let them come closer, you gotta let them clear those angles, and yeah. It was always gonna be a tough one, especially with the U to win the guns, but you know what? A bomb plant is still a bomb plant. It kind of saves you up from having to force once again. At least now you can have a couple of Deagles going forward, but this is already looking like a pretty solid defense from BESTIA. Slowing things down. Now would be the perfect moment for another clean round on the CT side. That would set you up pretty much until the end of the half. It's probably going to be the case, judging by the looks of it.
Okay, you spotted out at least one player towards the ramp. Hazard a guess that there's going to be more than one making their way out towards A. It's a nice shot from Jay-Z to at least give the Pistols a chance.
Oh.
And a second as well. The op acquired, but just for a moment, taken out of the hands of Stormson. Now Jay-Z is going to have to replicate a few more of those Deagle shots. Luchov just baiting perfectly for Thomason to strike. They'll recover that AWP. Bestia will win that round. And I wonder, when do we start getting a little bit worried for W7M, Ted? It is only the T side, but 7-3 is not a scoreline you want to be down on your map pick.
Yeah, especially when you're going into this game with such a, I guess, such a massive announcement for yourself and for your team and for the individuals throughout the group stage. A lot of expectations laying on people like Sadzin, who's on 1-9 currently and has been having his, truthfully, his worst map so far of the tournament, right? And this is not something that you wanted to see and not something that you expected to see. Surely something that he's going to be unhappy with. Obviously on the CT side, we might get to see the better of him, or the best of him actually, on that AVP. But what I'm getting worried about is the fact that he might not even get to have that AVP for as many rounds as he might have expected.
Obviously, spot Storms in up close. He's going to stick around here towards the balcony, but that brings on his untimely demise. Deco deals with the short player. At least Jay-Z continues to find these impactful kills to at least get them out onto the site, but eventually he has fallen. And it's down onto FokuU, having his best event so far. The IGL needs to step up. This would be a massive round if he could clutch it up, but a 1 versus 2 and just horrible angles trying to isolate a fight, but no idea that Thomason is going to be out in the open like that. 8-3, last round and a half coming up, and the money in the bank at W7M is not going to be enough to field any premium rifles.
We're just seeing a really great example of the consistency of the team of Bestia, right? The individuals on the lineup, everyone's just going huge. Noxy picking up an opening kill, Deku following up with the short kill, Luchov adding up, Deku with another, and then Thomason to round it up. You look at the scoreboard right now, everyone is just putting on big numbers for the side of Bestia. Obviously, Noxy's on 11 and 5, but the rifles as well are putting on their numbers on the board. And talking of Noxy, he's gonna pick up yet another opening kill on the CT side, and W7M might actually have to work their way out with only 3 rounds on the T side unless Sadzin and FokuU are capable of some magic.
And they're not. Shut down completely. That was a massive risk. I said they weren't going to have any premium rifles. I was expecting somebody to buy some util, but they just said, you know what, let's just swing out and just take some aim duels, see if we can win them. And Bestia, they shut that down very quickly. 9-3, that is utter domination from the CT side, and the pistol now has massive weight to it, Ted. If W7M are not able to take this pistol, we could be seeing them, if they save, you know, I expect them to see them force the next round just because they're so far behind. If they save, it doesn't leave very much room for error at all. They need to make sure that this one goes right. This is so important for their chances on Mirage, and already I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get a lot of information. It really depends on how quick Bestia or how slow Bestia are actually going to be on that take. And so far, they've given them a lot of time. W7M are going to be able to actually call some of those rotations back, and they're expecting that A play. This is actually great for the CTs right now. And the Felt Molotov.
Mayer still finds a
Oh my
double
God.
headshot into the site. Thomason now, ZD gets fortunate.
No way.
Finds a double, but Sadson, he's backed away through those smokes. Somehow Bestia make that work. Everybody was here, Ted. Everyone from W7M.
And they failed the Palace Molotov and mollied themselves out.
Yeah. And it still works. Mayer
Wow.
gets the information. That's all he's after. He doesn't even want the fight, even though he's full of confidence, and he definitely could take it if he wanted to. Sadson has made the steps to fake out that he's going for it, but he's going to back away. This is a Bestia pistol for sure. And Noxy might even not let him save. Oh, just instant. Sadson down. You've got nothing to work with in the next unless you want to force. And to be honest, like, what do you call here? Do you call the force here, or do you save for possibly that, you know, 11-3 scoreline. Surely 11-3 is way too much as we look at that pistol once again.
Yeah.
That double entry from Mayern. Oh,
a couple things. First of all, Mayern absolutely, well, rolled his wrongs pretty much. He was in a really good position in the end of that round in the team speak. To start it off, he fails the Molotov. After that, he was actually able to pay his dues, right? That was great repayment. He repaid his teammates. That's the right term to use. And afterwards, before the start of this game, if I told you that between Noxy and Sadzin, one would have 7 times the kills of the other on Mirage, would you believe that it would have been this way around?
No, absolutely not.
Noxy is on 14 and 5, and Sadzin is on 2 and 12.
He's been unplayable.
It's an Noxy masterclass, right? It's Bestia masterclass, but Noxy's been playing great, and Mayern, this is fantastic. It's so satisfying. I know it's just the pistols on the other side, but it's just been the sample for him for this entire game, and Luchov is going to put an end to it. That's 11 Bestia on the T side. W7M run the save in this one, so they can have one proper buy round here on the CT side, and one proper buy round actually excludes the AVP as well. But you're going to have the premium rifles, you're going to have the util. You need to start winning rounds, and you need to start doing so now. It's 10 consecutive if you want to close it out in regulation.
Yeah, like, it's such a long way back. I just want to say there, like, that really sums it up. That fight towards the Palace, like, you get Mayern down to 39 HP, and the 3 pistols run at him, and he still sprays down all 3 players. You don't even kill him. That summed up this game so far for W7M. Let's see if Bestia are going to get on to 12 here straight away. Sadzin has the information. They're coming out the ramp. Needs to try and stop at least one of them. Jay-Z has missed a little bit of a timing, and Sadzin under pressure alleviates a little bit of it, but falls directly after. Jay-Z now trapped, spammed through the ticket box. Fokyu is going to try and get in and save the day, but look at the damage done to the CTs towards stairs. It's absolutely massive, and Mayern continues to spray, continues to do more damage. That HE lands massively on Fokyu, and yeah, Deco could just ruin it all here.
Yeah, they're running back. This is so big. Deku knows that he's got the B bomb side. They know that both CTs are trapped towards connector. Mayern's actually going to go for the kill here. They're just not ready. The bomb's been sent back. They execute onto the A bomb side. They spend such a long time fighting there. They get all the kills, and then as soon as the B players rotate back, they send it back the B bomb side, and they just trap them in towards the connector. This is a masterclass of a Mirage from Bestia, and a 12-3 in their favor. That's been a long day for W7M.
It's hard to find any positives, really, Ted, to be honest, for W7M. I mean,
you know what the positives are? Actually, from a mental point of view, going into map number 2, you can just have the mindset of realizing that you just got completely stumped, right? Sometimes getting stumped is actually better than losing a really close map and getting frustrated and tired, right? You can just write this one off, accept that you had an off map on Mirage, and just think about the future. Focus on what you have coming up for you on map number 2, because this one looks over.
It really does. It really does. They're setting up for a little bit of an A play here. There's an SMG up close. We do apologize about the lack of mini-map, but we'll try and do our best. An opening frag found. It is a 5-on-4 now for Bestia, as one player underneath the balcony, I believe he's been dealt with. Deco's actually team-nated Thomason, which is going to help W7M just that little bit. Bomb can be planted here from Deco, though, and he should be able to get away safely. It's a lovely open plant as well, reverse default, so they can hold from pretty much everywhere. There's a player towards Palace and aggression towards top stairs, but it's not just a single man aggression, it's a double. 3-on-2, Sadzin now left with Storms in to try and clutch this one up, and it's a fantastic scout shot. Deco's down, Luchov is low, but the missed scout shot really surely just seals it. Storms in left to try and save the map. He doesn't have a kit, he doesn't have the time, and he doesn't have any health points left. He has been instantly headshot. Bestia extremely clean on map 1.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a statement and a half. An 18-7 showing from Mayern, a 14-6 showing from Noxy, and they didn't have a single player below the 10 kill mark. Jack, this wasn't just the Noxy masterclass. It wasn't just the Mayern masterclass. That was a really good performance from Bestia. Bestia showing that they are actually ready to have that Argentinian flag right up in the air and fight up against every single Brazilian team in the tournament. That was a statement on Mirage.
Absolutely, man. They've spiked that flag into the ground, and it's flown high on Mirage. Anubis coming up next, and we spoke about it. Bestia have picked into it, so W7M at least have, you know, the choice of sides, and if they get the ball rolling on their T side, if they're able to, you know, start well, they'll maybe be able to get something done. But we know when they played it against Sharks, they got utterly dominated. It was a 13-5 scoreline, so you know it could be a tough day at the office for them. Their T side wasn't as clean last time around, but it's kind of a case of only time will tell. They're going to need to wake up, Ted, because if they don't, they are going to be out, and it's going to be Bestia moving forward to take on Imperial in the semi-finals. We've got a short little break coming up, Ted. Make sure you guys don't go anywhere, because map 2 will be right up after this.
I have very complicated job, but I love simple things so much. One move, one push. One touch. One love. One click. One XBet.
This is Eva.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you very much. Your dad's just making his favorite dinner. It's duck. Come on inside. They're all probably too gruesome to tell you while you're eating at the table. How's your food? Is everything okay? Good, good. You seem to know each other.
Yeah. This is the new ambassador for 1xBet.
Oh, I see.
Everyone felt good when Eva Elfie became the new ambassador of 1xBet.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are just about to jump into map 2 between W7M and Bestia. Massive improvements needed from the Brazilians going into this game. 13-3 is not a scoreline that you want to lose on your own map pick, considering from, you know, what we've seen from them on Anubis already in this event. They got 13-5, I believe, by Sharks last time out. Now they are up against Bestia, and the problems seem to already been there. Do you think they have what it takes to turn this one around?
You know, this is a really tough question. Going into this game, I feel like, see, I'm gonna look at it from that perspective. I want to be optimistically looking at this and thinking that there realistically is a chance for W7M to come back into it, so I'm gonna put it that way. You've just lost your Mirage without really having any somewhat of a fighting chance. Would have been nice, right? This is the nice way to put it, right? It was a complete stomp, but going into map number 2, you're starting things off on the T side of Anubis, which is the most T-sided map. You lost your map pick, you were destroyed, you're out of the tournament already. Now you can just relax and play some good CS and see what happens. If you get to a third map, then we can start having some good conversations, but for now, Bestia should be winning this one for sure.
Well, we need to see W7M. It's going to have to come from the players that we didn't really see all that much from. We'd like to see a little bit more from Fokyu, Stormson and Sadson as well. Flash high over the site as the B execute does come in. Bestia are going to try and stop them. They'll go for a boost over the top of the smoke. And actually no kill going to be landed here. Triple tap. Flash through that one. Deco tries to change spots, but it's ZD with a double to get the ball rolling. Noxy is going to claim 2 for himself as well. A kill per pistol. Maynard dropping storms in, and all of a sudden W7M, they had all this control, and now they've got nothing. They've got Jay-Z carrying in towards Dark. He's going to be swung out, taps down 2. Noxy doesn't want to swing, and eventually will just peek one by one by one, and Jay-Z will hold them all off.
Yeah, he's just the hero that they needed in this round. That was so close to collapsing. It was a 5 versus 3 for W7M, right? It was a good adjustment. They go for the execute. They realize they're not getting anything off of it, and Bestia are just completely content with just holding on to tempo, CT side, and plateau, and connector. So they go pushing, they go looking, go aggressive, through the smoke, find 2 kills. It's a 5v3, and suddenly you lose 3 people when you're down in a 2 versus 3 where you're in the man disadvantage. But JC going huge with a triple. Now you're in a great position. That should be a fairly clean one, even though it's a push from the CTs, but not a single kill actually going in their way. So I guess it's safe to say that Jay-Z, no way you're getting a knife out of this, right? I'm gonna lose my mind if he actually does knife someone here.
Well, all right, no, not gonna happen, and that's clean as well. You boost up your money, happy days. You don't cause any real problems on that eco. Now we see Bestia buy up. Marin, Noxy, everybody will have an M4. I was just looking to see it. Was Noxy actually going to go for the glass cannon there, but didn't have enough funds, I believe. 5 M4s should do the trick though. It'd be interesting to see how W7M want to play this one. Pretty standard default, it looks like, from the beginning. Fokyu and Jay-Z,
you know what?
though, might be sent in to take some control of A main.
Ooh, The moment I saw the 3 people run with the bomb in towards A, I was like, there's no way they're calling it an instant A rush, right? But no, it was just the default, and I killed through the smoke to open things up for Sadzin. That's going to be great. He's on 4-0 already, which for those of you that actually did watch map number 1, you know, already feels like a breath of fresh air, right? Especially considering the great performance we've seen from him so far. We know that what we just saw on Mirage is not the sample, right? That's not a good example of the level that he can play up to. And yeah, nice to see him on a good start. Eventually it will be an A play, and Mayern waiting out to support his teammate with some utility. Noxie's actually not going to be able to spot anyone. Burns a little bit, but Bestia have a pretty decent setup. Problem is, they're actually starting to rotate a lot of people over towards B, and that might actually end up being a save.
Yeah, it's looking like a save. You're locked out of this bomb site right now, and yeah, there's a few players a little bit closer, but nah, this is not going your way. You need to save for this next round for sure. Really nicely played from w7m. We're already seeing, you know, signs of life, Ted. We're already seeing, you know, w7m start very well, which is good because, you know, if they just get completely steamrolled for the first, you know, 3, 4, 5 rounds of this game, then, you know, the doubt really kind of creeps into our minds. Like, is this just going to be done in 2? But w7m are really putting it up to Bestia, especially on that first gun round. But because there's 4 surviving here, we're going to need to see it once again. It's not like they're going to get a break. It's not like, you know, they're going to be up against just upgraded pistols. It's going to be against the rifles, and Deco's even got a nice little upgrade onto an AK.
Yeah, it might not even be the doubt. It might even be described as a sense of, I guess, insecurity, a sense of helplessness, maybe, to what you can do actually in the server. But now if you're w7m, you've actually proven to yourself that you can win some rounds. You can be in the lead. You can have a good start. Obviously, it's too early for us to say, yeah, okay, we're going to a 3rd map. They've already done it. It's too early for that. But at least they're showing some promising signs, right? At least they've won some rounds now. It's been fairly clean so far. You've just allowed Bestia to get, what, 4 kills combined across 5 players for the first 3 rounds. Now, they get to replay their buy round, but you still have the advantage of Sadzin being on an AVP that Noxie sadly doesn't have the finances for yet. That's why you can actually molly the Hopper away, and that's one way to deal with him.
Nice little piece of chained utility there, because the Opera was posted up towards Dark. They mollied and flashed him out, and it actually gave Luchov the chance to peek down towards the canals to spot out any information. That's a failed flashbang, but Deco still goes through anyway. ZD has spotted the information, and they've just naded him to force him away. So there's little pieces of the puzzle for Bestia that they're beginning to put together. W7m don't have that much control. This is a little bit of a aggression out here. Smoke to scale towards that A bomb site should they want it to scale through A main. But right now it's just players dumping their utility. We're not really seeing too many fights. The bomb needs to be picked up, and w7m need to find their way into at least one of these bomb sites.
I wonder if that's going to be a B round, actually, with the position of Zadie in front of the B lobby, in front of the B bomb side. But for now, it looks like they're going to try and make some contact in towards A. Up close setup, though, for Thomas, and he's going to be so close, and he's going to hear all the util timings. Great, gets one, but now they can call the bluff. Now they know it's a fake. They're hearing the steps of people actually going back. They know no one's pushing forward in towards the A bomb side, but Tadzin is still finding kills, so that might actually sell the fake even better.
This is a big fight for Noxia here. JZ, oh, doesn't clear his angle properly and goes down. That's the bomb as well. Noxia now has backup, but he doesn't need it. He's going to find and collect that frag, and Bestia might just collect their first round. Noxia with a hat-trick, and even gets the upgrade onto his favoured weapon. What a way to get your first. And that kind of comes down to it as well, Ted, that, you know, we have a look and we see, you know, them save, them keep 4 alive, and then all of a sudden, you know, they have a chance in that round.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, you have Noxy just hiding in towards the back of quad with an M4, and because of the actually good work that you did on the other side of the map with the fake, I think they weren't ready, especially as soon as I believe the mid lurk actually was met in towards Tempo and he dies. They just assumed that that was the final B player, right? That was the last piece of the B defense, just going back to take care of middle and the possibility of a walk through the smoke. But w7m now, on their last buy round before potential reset, are going to head in towards the B bomb side, and this time is going to be a lot quicker.
Yeah, this time it is going to be a little bit faster, but Luchov already stops the first player. They need to really deal with this dark presence though, and Fokyu is going to get up close and personal. The op gets absolutely nothing from this round. Deco goes down through the smoke as well, so w7m, they don't need to go that much more aggressive. They've got the control, they've got the bomb down, they just need to play and hold for the post plants, but that HE definitely just chips away at Sadson. Great flash in here. Thomason looking for more than just the one. Sadson's actually passed him a little bit in the smoke. Sadson could really change this round completely, but it's Jay-Z continuing to apply the pressure from Dark, and Thomason in a 1 versus 2 backs up right into the player that has lurked his way behind. And w7m with the instant response. Bestia cannot get 2 in a row.
Yeah, that was great work by w7m. I'm not sure who it was, by the way. The player that pushed through the right-hand side smokes on towards Splat and then towards Quad to actually dispatch of the AVP of Noxy. That was a big play, right? If you just let him have that control, you saw how well it actually worked out in the pistol round for them, right? Because it was a pretty similar round, even though now they had the guns. If you let the CTs just reside behind the smokes and just gather up all their units in towards that part of the map, you know, come out of Tempo, come out of CT, have Plat, and then they have all the units to retake, it's actually a really hard bomb site to hold on to, right? Because you're stuck into pretty much having people in towards jail, default, dark, and B main. And all of those positions, I mean, B main and dark can just get smoked off, or you can molly dark as well. Then you need 1 or 2 flashes to clear out everything else on the bomb side itself. So it was really nice initiative taken there to find that kill, and then from that point on, from a 3 versus 3, it was a lot easier, especially with the push through the smoke there from the player that was low on HP.
Fokyu wants to take a little bit more space. Do they read into Noxy having an AWP? Not at that position. Now they definitely do. Fokyu is taking a bullet, luckily through the wall. So he is still standing. Is a decent amount of damage, and he's seen the blood splatter on the wall as well, Ted. So he knows he's hit him. He knows somebody is at least low.
Yeah. Confirmed information.
Yeah,
they've been able to push them back at least, right? Now you've just posted Noxy on that angle with the deep smoking towards main, and Thomason can just focus on middle. They're actually gonna switch positions or gather up. Yeah, they've completely left the A bomb site, hearing the player up close towards middle, so they might actually want to get that kill. And with how slow those defaults have been from the T side, Bestia are kind of being forced into making some moves here and trying to read the situation, but unfortunately for them, it doesn't really feel like they have the right read as of right now.
Nah, it doesn't, right? I mean, they're really preoccupied with A, but it is just the fake. But they're kind of reading in now to this T side of w7m, right? They know that w7m like to pull players away from these positions. They like to throw a fake into the mix, and now they're just going to throw a straight up execute towards B. Deco trades 1 through the smoke, which could be good enough to entice Bestia now to go for this. However, they just rely on a single flashbang, and there it goes. Marin tries to get up a little bit closer. Sadson with a double. Knocks it. Finds at least 1, but now he is left alone. He has to try and get out of here, but as the smoke fades, there's just going to be so many players on his screen, and Sadson really doing all the hard work there. The Opper, the man that they rely on to come up with the goods time and time again, and he does. Currently sits on 8 and 2, 6 rounds in.
Yeah, that's been a great recovery. That second shot must have been crazy. Look at that. That was a wrist breaker there if I've ever seen one from Sadson. And now we're starting to see the Sadson that we actually did watch in the group stage, right? Now we're starting to see that young prodigy on the AVP who's just flicking people, just tormenting. everyone in the server, even on the T side. This is one of the things that actually makes him so powerful and so useful, right? He's not going to be the guy to actually open up a round on the AVP on the T side, but he's going to be that guy mid-round to actually find the multi-kill with, well, essentially the gun that you're not supposed to be able to find that many multi-kills with. Where a lot of players actually struggle is the mid portion of the round with the ult, but he's really good at actually those high intensity situations, finding his impact in them. And it's another tactical timeout for Bestia. Is that their final one? That's their third, right?
Yeah,
is the graphic wrong? Or this is their last tactical timeout in 6 rounds. They've used all of them.
Yeah, I think they have.
Yeah, that's the alarm on for sure.
Yeah.
That's worrying signs. Bestia weren't expecting that type of resistance from w7m after the Mirage, after how clean it was. But w7m have done a great job of just fighting back. And it does feel like they might have had that mindset of realizing that after Mirage, this game on paper should be over, so you're playing without too much pressure on map 2. And it does feel like it, right? They are fighting like a team that has something to show right now. Still gotta be careful, though. Even when you're up against the pistols. I mean, you've lost one and you've given away an AK. Oh.
Man actually got a kill out of that, by the way.
Yeah.
So he was mollied out, swings with that USP and still collects a skull. It's a good deep smoke here from Folk U. Now this is a big risk if they want to come through it. Oh, he tried to get up close and second guessed himself. He should have just stayed and fight and seen how many he got, but in the end he got none. Sadson, he just stops the one. They can smoke him off here. They don't have a kit, so this is still very doable from ZD. ZD.
Double peek.
Waiting. They're sticking the bomb now. He eventually has to peek, and it's going to be on a timing. ZD tries to take down both, but it doesn't happen. Deco stands tall, and Bestia, they're going to steal that one away. And now, Ted, their money's going to flourish. Look at the amount that they have in everybody's bank account. 3 people still have to buy, of course, yes, but that is going to be a massive help. Very limited invested. You managed to pull that one away, and those are the kind of rounds that really kind of flip the script, flip the dynamic of the game.
There's so many wrong things with this round. Well, from the perspective of w7m, right? First, the fact that Mayern gets a kill mollied off with the USP. Then the player, I'm not sure who it was, in towards CT with the deep smoke that just turns around, knife out. That was indecisive as well. And that might actually start things off here for Bestia. That's a great opener by Nox. He shuts down the initial aggression. And now they're going to be a lot more prepared for that B play.
Oh, he hit him with the Molotov. Noxy knows he's close and just used the no-scope, no problem. HE to blow open the smoke, doesn't see anything, and Util's going to rain on in. W7M do get the bomb down, but that is the height of it. It's another nice round from Bestia, and this one is extremely clean. Very risky there from Sadson. Actually, you know, he was one of the only players. He tried to go for an absolute hero play, dropping down into canals, wasn't expecting him, but you can see there, he didn't even get the op up in time to even go for that duel, to even go for that fight, so gives away his life for free. And to be honest, Ed, I can smell the tide turning here. I can smell this game now just coming to terms, or rather Bestia coming to terms with what they actually have to do on this CT side. It is only the pistols just again for W7M, even with that bomb plant, so this is Bestia's route back into this game, and we spoke about the CT side.
Yeah.
What they needed to do.
Look, all I'm gonna say, the seeds have been planted from Bestia for a really successful CT side, and someone tell Noxy he's not supposed to find those kills with the AVP close range. Something I've noticed, by the way, I don't think Noxy's played a single round away from that B-bomb side with the AVP so far. Every single time he's B, he's playing with the OP against the pistols like it's a shotgun, and he's still 12-4.
I think there was one.
Nice. Some things never change, I guess.
There was one round he was towards A. He landed the tag through the wall, but that was I think you're right about that. I think he hasn't really been towards middle with the op. That
like
is
every single time the point. I'm gonna actually rephrase that. I have a better way of saying that. He's been to the position which W7M have been trying to target first on the map in every single round.
Yes.
He's just positioning himself so well. You can't escape him. Jay-Z's trying to, desperately. He's implementing the good old, if I don't move, if I close my eyes, they won't find me. They won't see me. Eventually, though, you're going to have to start moving, because going down after time or just staying alive won't be good enough. So Thomason is going to collect his life. And how have the tables turned, Jack? Look at the money for Bestia. I mean, just a couple rounds ago, we were looking at them on an eco and potentially going at what, a 6-1 lead on the T side for W7M, and now it's 5-4, and suddenly Bestia have 2 players over $10K and everyone else has at least 5.
Yeah, it's really kind of changed, hasn't it? You can feel Bestia really starting to land those punches, and they're beginning to stagger W7M just that little bit. But let's not forget, I mean, it was 2 eco rounds in a row. This is the first real gun round we've seen from W7M in quite a while, so they'd love to find an opening pick, they'd love to find an opening duel. But right now, Bestia, they're not really giving all that much to them. They've went for their early picks, their early fights, seen nothing, gathered small pieces of information, but they are playing quite passive, besides Luchov, who is sitting towards Dark. Needs to be a little bit cautious about the spam, as nades are being traded out on the A-bomb site.
Yeah, once again, you can see how much trust they have in their B players, right? A lot of teams are actually quite uncomfortable with leaving so many people or so few people in towards the B bomb side. But again, heavily stacked, heavily leaning in towards that A middle part of the map. And Noxy once again is going to be positioned perfectly. That's another time he's read into that initial peak that these want to go for. And again, he's been able to find an opening kill. He's on 13-4 right now.
And once they find that frag, they're so confident. Noxy's saying, yeah, leave me here. Leave me here on A, go towards B. They actually rotated Thomason over, but now they're going to rotate back because they're worried about mid. Now they need to be worried about B. They've heard everything. Deco is just going to play in this bait setup right now, and he might not even be needed. Luchov stops 3 of them. It's a monstrous spray down to stop this play from W7M, and now the element of surprise. Deco gets in on the action. Bestia just have everything in place to deal with that round, and W7M, Ted, they've been quite stale in the last few rounds, and no surprise that we're going to see their first tactical timeout of the game, because Bestia are back, and that's a big problem.
Yeah, they've started to crumble. Look at that. One player coming out of main. He didn't have a Molotov. Even if he does, he probably doesn't molly it because he needs to have his gun out because he's all alone. And Luchov, who was just supposed to be the decoy, who was just supposed to be the bait there, actually finds a triple. All of them headshots as well. Great work by Luchov. I mean, seeing that performance from Noxy has shifted our focus in towards the AVP rather than the rifles. But let's not forget, Bestia is usually a team that we admire because of their rifle work. We are still seeing glimpses of it. W7M for sure seeing some glimpses of it. They're filling them as well. Now they're down to the pistols. No bomb plan equals no party. So just a couple of upgraded pistols. Some util that you can hope to use in potentially a successful set piece play. But Bestia are actually looking to initiate contact first, and that's a great opener by a nade. It's the oak on the angle. Deku decides, you know what, a 2-for-1 under those circumstances is actually beneficial for us.
Yeah, it was more so he didn't know how many players were already in that corner, right? So he definitely could go down to, you know, just that Tech 9 swinging him. All of a sudden the B bomb site's completely open. So yeah, you're dead right to back away. You've given them away a rifle, but you know, that could be easily dealt with, especially with the form that Bestia are in right now. Jay-Z has crept his way out now towards the pillar. Thomason waiting to try and walk through. He's going to turn around, and the pistol does a decent amount of damage, but Thomason still finds the kill. Storms in on the swing. Thomason just ready.
Nailed him.
Yeah, and W7M, they haven't had much to really take home in any of these last 4 or 5 rounds. ZD trying to do it all himself. He was spectacular on Mirage. I mean, spectacular in terms of the rounds that W7M won. he was usually the man to get it done. He picked up an ace in that. I believe the 13th ace of the tournament as well.
We've seen a lot of aces so far.
We have. 25 seconds. Doesn't need the ace, just needs the 4K to win it, but surely this is not looking doable. He's actually got a wonderful timing now, I believe. No, Deco has spotted him out. Molly in hand. Deco swing. Seedy giving that fight, but Thomason was always going to trade that one out. And Bestia on fire towards the last round of the half.
Yeah, come to think of it, they were down 1-5 on their CT side on Anubis, and now they're up 6-5, so at least you get a 6-6 score line at the end of this, which is absolutely fantastic. What a recovery that's been from Bestia. Thinking that it all started with one round that they steal away with just pistols, nothing but. Now w7m desperately need this round. If you're down 5-7 on your T side on Anubis after you were up 5-1, that would hurt. That would be really painful. And Foku's gonna try and break through the mold, but Mayern with a fantastic flashbang sets himself up. JZ up close for the refrag, so at least you get a 1-for-1 out of this. And now you have two options. You either slow things down or you just wait it out for your teammates to join you and you recommit towards that A bomb side. And it feels like they have no option B. It's going to be the A play.
Yeah, Thomason is smoked out here now. Luchov is going to try and get a little bit closer. He has that smoke, of course, to maybe scale onto the site, but Luchov does actually go down. Thomason's still alive, and he's waiting for his teammates to get here, but the util is just raining on in right now. Molly onto the planter. ZD completely blind. JZ is going to hold the front line. He is low. Needs to be worried about a peek, and actually it's the HE to take him out of the round. A 2v4 turns into a 2v1. How have they managed to overturn this? Just like that. It is down to ZD. Thomason swings to try and take him down, but he's got the 1v1 versus the Yacht, but it's the Tech 9 that he needs to be concerned about. Noxy takes him down. The IGL closes out that half 16-4. One of the best performances we've seen from Noxy in a very long time, and he has really spearheaded this comeback.
Yeah, it's so impressive that it's not just one map, right? It is across the series. For those of you that actually missed out on the first map, he was on 14-6 on Mirage. And, well, he's already beating that here on Anubis, and we're just at the end of the first half. Noxy's been absolutely spectacular, and as you pointed out, that was a 2 versus 4. That was so great by Bestia. At this point, it just feels like if you're w7m, feels like whatever you do, you're just gonna lose the round. Noxy's on 16-4. He's killed 30 people so far in the series, and we still have potentially, well, let's say a bare minimum of 6 more rounds, and that is if Bestia win all of them to play for.
To put that into perspective, I mean, 30 kills in 28 rounds, so yeah, more than a kill a round. He's running it right now, and Bestia, they're going to run it through middle. They are hunting down Foku, and he is terrified.
They know they dinked him early on, by the way. They know they goosed him up, so they were like, yeah, we're going to finish off that kill. But now they're actually going to readjust, and running into a 3-man stack towards CT, it doesn't make a difference. All of the kills just go in favor of Bestia. That was supposed to be the element of surprise actually going in favor of w7m there with the setup, but it just doesn't work out. Foku and Zadie, a 2v4. Foku was already low on HP, and Zadie wasn't low on HP, but Mayern just puts him to sleep straight away. That's 8 in a row, Jack, and at this point, this is not Bestia on fire. This is Bestia just taking this one 2-0.
This is sheer and utter domination right now. Something needs to change for w7m. Every T-pistol in the series won as well. And there's going to be no response here from w7m in terms of a buy. You can't. It's not even up for debate. You need to just eco this one and get on the rifles as soon as possible. It's still winnable for w7m. But their CT side needs to be pretty much perfect. The pistols are going to swing out. Luchov goes down, and Mayern now just going to try and fend off the attackers. Another spray down from Mayern. It's Noxy to steal one away with the HE, but Mayern will not mind because they survive a small bit of a scare. Losing 2 players in the process, but it's not about, you know, them winning rounds cleanly. It's just about them winning them. You only need 4 more to take the series.
Yeah. And right now, you know that w7m's confidence is not going to be on an all-time high, right? You're talking about a
100%.
team that's lost their last 4 games on the map that you're playing right now. They've been able to reach double digits only once out of those 4, and they have a 40% win rate on the CT side, which, well, ironically, is the side on which they need to actually go for this comeback and attempt it on. You just can't find a lot of stats. You can't find a lot of intel that would really back them up with this comeback, but a buy-round win here would be a good place to start. Fogyu burning down to 48 HP early on, though, is not a good place to start.
No, not at all. But it only starts with 1. It always starts with 1. And that's what w7m need to keep in mind. They're able to get this. It could really, really change things. They need to try and stop Bestia, though, who haven't really lost it around since that eco round a really long time ago. 8 rounds, 9 rounds ago. Yeah, this is a lovely sell here as Storms and peeks out.
That's
Deco,
safe.
yeah, rips his head off. It's a pretty similar story to what we've seen on the first going round from Bestia, right? You know, in terms of what happened to them on their CT side.
Yeah.
They lose that round very cleanly. It's 1 kill, and then, right, okay, let's just back away. Let's save. Let's give themselves a chance. And Bestia were able to convert that round on their CT side. w7m really need to hope for the same.
Yeah. The problem is right now, the situation mentally is a lot different when you compare the 2 teams, right? The 2 situations actually have nothing to do with each other, right? Because Bestia, from their perspective, that round was just, okay, we have our first buy. It's just round, what, 3, 4 of the map. We've won map 1, so it's fine. We can just save. We're going to have a chance to actually fight next time. And now if you're w7m, you could tell that they were really frustrated that they couldn't even play into the round because they realize every single round that they lose, it's not about money right now. It's about the fact that they're getting closer and closer to being eliminated from the tournament. And that's just 3 away now. And losing 1 more gun there in the process of saving doesn't make things better. That means that you're going to have 2 players potentially on Famouses, especially if you want to have some nades to bring into this round, and that's going to be factual actually. And in the end of this round, unless you win it, you might be saying bye-bye to the tournament, because once again, your money's not looking great.
Fokyu's going to try and get it done here for his side, and that's a lovely entry to find. Will he get away with his life? And the answer is no to that one. Noxy up close towards Connector. Jay-Z deals with him at least. So Bestia try and really put the pedal to the metal there, put the foot on the gas and try and find something done. Storms in, spots out a player towards middle, but gets a nice upgrade. Still keeping that man advantage intact. Bestia though, it seems like they're just going to try and hit A out here. And you'd fancy them even with a man disadvantage to overturn this one. Sadzin blinded by a teammate's flashbang, I believe. Actually, it was a T flashbang, excuse me.
Yeah, it was Thomas in.
They're all over the site. Oh, Luchov.
No way.
Lovely headshot. Mayern gets the bomb down as well. It's down to a 3 versus 3, but you're confined pretty much to the site. You need to stand and fight here. And Mayern hits yet another headshot. Jay-Z now from heaven peeks down. Mayern is going to fall, and it is down to Luchov. Tries to isolate the 1v1s, which he does. Low HP on Sadzin. Just needs 1 bullet. And Luchov clutches up a 1 versus 2 that goes Bestia's way. And what can you say about Bestia, Ted, other than even when it's against them, nothing seems to be going right. You know, they're down players, they're down men. They just cannot be beaten. They just cannot be toppled. And w7m, I can't imagine how they're feeling right now.
This is so frustrating. Every single fight that you go into from the CT side's perspective is one that you would actually think you have a decent shot at winning. And every single time you spot a player on your screen, you get insta headshot after insta headshot. It's just too much to deal with. Surely, mentally, game-wise, you're just being dominated by Bestia right now. What a showing that is. It's just putting more insult to injury as well. The fact that Luchov was put in a 1 versus 2 and he still is able to clutch it up. Still able to get the insta headshot on the player that's full on HP and then just finish off the one that was low. 11-5. You go for another one. Sadzin's put himself on an AVP. They have the rifles. They have the MP9s. Yuto is running low. Not a single defuse kit. But this is for the tournament. This is for everything right now.
You've HC the smoke there, hasn't blown up. You were looking to find a pick off that, but Sadson now is going to have to go aggressive with it. Mollied, forced back. He's been heard burning. Tries to retreat to safety. Mayern cannot find that frag though just yet. He's going to have to wait it out. Storms in, creeps in up close. Mayern actually does go down and gets away with his life. Very important. W7M, they have disadvantage once again, but it's not much of one considering the HP and still considering the weaponry that W7M are wielding. It looks like it is going to be an A split. Sadson line knocked down. He's lost Fokio, however, and the pressure is on. He needs to hit another shot here. Backs away into the site for safety. Still collects a second. Deco and Noxy. It is down to them. A 2 versus 3. Stormson is low, but Noxy does have the AWP out. This is a massive kill if Deco can find it. Creeps up close. Gets inked up. Noxy finds a second. The bomb was only tapped, and Noxy wins it. Once again, you look to your leader to clutch up, and he does. 20 and 5 Ted, and right now Bestia, it seems they wouldn't get a kick in a stampede. Everything is working out for them.
Yeah, Sadson did God's work, by the way. Getting a double kill out of this situation, the second shot was absolutely ludicrous, but then Stormson pushing through, not being aware of the aggression possibility, and Noxy with a big double kill on the AVP. This is Bestia winning 11 rounds in a row on Anubis. They're not on fire. They're a phoenix, and they're gonna try and close it out with an A rush by the looks of it.
Looking to make it 12 rounds in a row. Stormson tries to stand tall, but he's stopped. He's overwhelmed by the just sheer numbers that are going to be sent barreling towards this A-bomb site. But Sadson, with that scout, at least collects one. Flash is good. ZD blind as he crosses. That HE should land on top of 2 players, but it just does damage to 1. And Bestia, they do not have the control that they wanted in this site. They're going to post Noxy to see if anybody is gonna go for the information play, but he gets flashed and really needs to be careful because the pistols and SMGs, they want to get up close. Bestia will get away. They'll get out onto this B bomb site. There's nobody here to stop them, but the problem is they don't have smokes. They don't know what angles are cleared. And Deco, look at this. He's going to take such aggressive positioning, and Noxy finds that first frag. Sadson's being heard all the way. Deco's going to collect a free kill here. Knife out, no problem. And it's down to Fokio and ZD, who need to try and get this done. Noxy has a fight coming up here, whether he realises it or not. Missed shot doesn't cost him his life. And Luchov and Deco just need to play this one together. Luchov up close. There's the headshot bomb. Is only tapped and it's down to the IGL. But he has fallen as well. 12 in a row for Bestia. That's sheer and utter domination. They concede 8 rounds in the series and set up a match versus Imperial in the semi-finals.
What a statement that is from the Argentinian side, making their way into the semi-finals of the tournament. Losing a series in the group stage, being close to losing a series to Fury Academy in their opening game. And you know what? We were so critical of them for not showing their A game in the groups. Now they've shown their A game. This is the Bestia that we want to be watching. This is the Bestia that the Argentinian fans want to be seeing. And unfortunately, this was the Bestia that I don't think the Brazilians really enjoyed seeing, right? Bestia looking in form. And you know what? Going into that Imperial matchup, you've actually made a statement here because you've dominated the youngest team in the tournament, which happens to be another Brazilian team. After La Rugoneta got eliminated earlier by Imperial, you actually have somewhat of a story going into this game, right? The build-up is going to be really intense. You're in there with a potential revenge arc for your countryman, and you're playing up against the most dominant Brazilian team in that so-called tier 1.5 space. So far this year. So this is going to be the real test. But no matter what happens in that Imperial game, Bestia have shown that they can dominate teams that they are supposed to beat on paper, but teams that are extreme wild cards and could be really tough to deal with, especially on a good day.
Yeah, man, I mean, you know, W7M, they didn't put a foot wrong in the tournament, beating Corinthians, beating Sharks, but they just weren't on form today. They just could not deal with Bestia. I believe, like, Nox is calling. I want to just talk about that for a minute. I think Noxy has called a great game, especially, you know, on the T side. I think the mental from Bestia was quite good there, even when they were, you know, 5-1 down. All of a sudden, they win an eco round and bang, it's game over. Like they didn't lose a round after that, and it's just incredible to see. Nox, I believe, finished that game 21-5. He was 14-6 in map 1, so you know he dies 11 times across the whole series and averages around a kill per round, which is ridiculous from an opper that we think about, and we kind of go, yeah, he's a good he's a good IGL, but he's not the star. He's not this guy that you're gonna expect and drop incredible numbers time and time again. But Noxie manages to go and just put up a star-like performance, and if he's playing like that, and especially if they've got, you know, Mayern playing like he did on map 1, you know, they've got so many different avenues and different players to look at when they need a round that, to be honest, I think Imperial are gonna have a very, very tough time trying to deal with them.
It's going to be an interesting game, right? Because it's such a massive turnaround compared to the first game, in which it felt like it was either going to be Thomasin or they would lose the series simply, right? Now you're seeing all those individuals in much more important game against arguably tougher opposition, showing up and putting on big numbers and just going crazy in the server, and that's exactly what you're expecting out of a team like that. So with that being said, we already have our first semi-final arrange. Is going to be Imperial taking on Bestia, Jack, and I'm really looking forward to this one. You know, we're gonna have to wait it out a little bit. I believe this is happening on Saturday, so we still have 2 more days up until then, so plenty of time for both Bestia and Imperial to prepare. Obviously, commiserations to W7M. They were an absolute joy to watch, especially throughout the group stage. Played a great game, and I firmly believe that they're going to be disappointed with their showing today, because they know that they can do better, and we know they can do better. So I'm really looking forward to potentially the next LATAM tournament of the rest regional series, and I'm looking forward to watching them again. Really, I think this is a team with a lot of potential. As we said, the youngest team in the playoff stage, so you would always expect them to maybe crumble under the pressure at times, but what matters is not it's not if you lose, but how you take the loss, right? How you recover from that, what you learn out of those experiences. And you know, I'm sure that they're going to learn a lot. Sadly though, and I'm actually going to give you a quick update before we send this one into a break, because we have a lot of time before that Case and Sharks game. Right now, Fluxo is pretty much doing the same to Solid that we just saw here. So the situation over on the A stream, for those of you that have no idea, Fluxo just won Ancient 13-6, which was their map pick, and they're currently 11-1 in the lead on Vertigo. So pretty certain we're going to have to say goodbye to Solid as well, which, again, pretty sad, but Flux have been playing great, man. And those semifinals, well, looking at some of the matchups that we might actually get potentially, those semifinals are going to be pure fire.
Yeah, they will. Of course, if you want to check out that action, it is twitch.tv/relog_en. That is the A stream. As for now, Ted, though, we do have to send it to a little bit of a break. We will be back in around an hour and a half going live with the pregame for Case versus Sharks, which is going to be our final quarter final and our final matchup of the day. It is going to be taking place over on the A stream, so you may as well go and switch over to that now just to be ready. Leave it tabbed, and myself and Ted will be on your screens in the very near future. But until then, thank you for watching, and we will see you guys in an hour and a half's time.
One chance, one dream, one match, one energy, one fight, one aim, one action, one hope, 1xBet.